one. Let's go. Welcome to Unleashing the Power of Women Voices event by Women Thrive. My name is Ramonda Jan, and I will be your host for today's showcase event spotlighting the speakers of the Women Thrive Summit. If you've never been here before, you're in for an absolute treat, inspiration, motivation, and beautiful, beautiful connections. We host this event once a month, which is the third Thursday of the month, and we spotlight the speakers from the Women Thrive Summit. Now, Women Thrive Summit is our annual women empowerment event of the year. This is the largest virtual event for women to join, to be inspired, to be motivated, also make beautiful connections. So today is just a snippet of what are you going to be experiencing during our live event in March. And it is a 5-day live virtual event, which means anybody can join from anywhere in the world, and you will be able to tune in to all of these incredible speakers. It has taken us quite a few months to find our incredible speakers. It has been quite a journey, but we are here today. And what you may not know, that behind the scenes, we've been working so hard to prepare this annual event for you. So let us know where you're joining us, where in the world you're joining us from today. If this is your first time on our showcase event, or maybe you always come back to watch and engage with our speakers. I'm really excited, honored that I get to host this event and really witness women and their magic and their power in their moments of sharing their truth. Because I know what it's like to not have the confidence to speak, to not have a voice, to maybe question ourselves. And we as women are so good at doing that. So today, I hope that the speakers who get to take this stage is going to inspire you to perhaps one day share your story on stage. And if this is one of your biggest fears, don't worry, because confidence grows with you showing up. So the more you show up, the more you speak about the things that you're passionate about your story, the more confidence it grows. And we've created the Women Thrive as a safe space for women to share their stories, because a lot of times we don't feel safe. The things that we have gone through might not be safe to share in every environment. So we want this to be a safe space for you to know that you're not alone. How many times you've gone through a challenging situation in life and you felt like nobody really gets me. I am the only one going through it. But time and time again, over the years of hosting the Women Thrive Summit, what I realized that there's so much more that unites us than separates us. And what I mean by that is we as women go through some of the similar experiences. It doesn't matter where you're joining from. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. It doesn't matter what age you are. There are some of the similarities and experiences that we are either going through or have gone through. And we wouldn't know that unless platforms like this existed, where we shared our experiences, where we shared our stories, where we had those conversations that truly matters. Few weeks ago, first week of January, we hosted our networking. So we have a free virtual networking event. And we asked women, what are the topics we should be talking about more? What are the topics that we're not speaking about right now that are so important? And there was a really interesting mix of different topics that women have brought up, things that we have never even thought about. How about the midlife changes? How about, empowering young women? How about going through menopause or parenting and various stages of life? A lot of times we don't have those conversations enough. I think it's really, really important that we start doing that. And so Women Thrive platform has been created for that purpose, for us to have a conversation about things that truly matters. At Women Thrive, we have a magazine, a series of books, we have a platform, events. So there is something for everyone, and you can engage and participate in a community just like this. So I'm excited that you're here. You're here to meet our speakers for the Women Thrive Summit. We have quite a lineup. I will be your solo host because my co-host today is traveling. She is on vacation. And so I'm excited to invite lots of amazing speakers to the stage today. And this is the first of our 2 showcases that we are holding today. So make sure you come back in the afternoon or evening, wherever you are, to check out the second event of the day. Now, I want to bring my first speaker on, Savannah Madden, who is confidence coach for women in business. She helps established female entrepreneurs reclaim their voice, strengthen their self-belief, and step into their CEO identity so they can grow in their income and lead with clarity and courage. I'm really excited to welcome you, Savannah. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm thrilled to hear what you got to share today. So I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'll be back at the end to have a little chit chat.
Amazing. Thank you. I didn't lose my voice during a crisis. I lost it after I thought I was finally safe. 18 months after leaving my marriage, my body did what I hadn't yet learned to do. It completely stopped. And after leaving my ex-husband, I did what so many women do. I survived. I carried on, I held it together. And because I didn't completely fall apart, I thought I was fine. And a year and a half later, I was diagnosed with vocal nodules due to overuse and overwork. I was told to stop speaking, rest my voice, and to seriously reconsider how I was living. And that's when I realized something really important. My voice wasn't the problem, it was the messenger. Losing my voice forced me to slow down and listen, not just to my body, but to myself. And what I began to understand was that confidence doesn't disappear overnight, it erodes slowly when we override ourselves for too long. And that moment became the catalyst for everything that came next. It led me to start my first business, and over time, growing that business, growing that team, stepping into that CEO identity, it gave me clarity, confidence, and the capacity to start a new business. And during that rebuilding, my recovery, my voice started to become something bigger. It became the framework of what I now teach in Reclaim Your Voice. Because what I learned is that confidence is not about pushing harder, it's about alignment, sense of self. And for me, that meant reconnecting to my values, taking ownership of how I was showing up, redefining my identity and respecting my capacity, and only then being able to express myself clearly and sustainably again. And what I see now, working with incredible women in business, is that most are not lacking ambition or capability. They're successful on paper, but disconnected underneath. Confident, capable, but just exhausted. And the body always keeps the score. And that is what that looks like in real life. I work with women who are outwardly successful, but constantly second guessing themselves, thinking that they're not good enough, who are running businesses that look impressive, but they feel really heavy. And they say yes when their body's actually saying no, and who have learned to ignore those little signals that keep cropping up until something forces them to stop. But when we rebuild from the inside, from alignment, the shifts are tangible. They stop performing confidence and start trusting themselves and make cleaner decisions without overthinking. They communicate more clearly, more calmly, and with less emotional charge. And they lead in a way that no longer costs them their health, relationships, or sense of self. And that is what I teach inside Reclaim Your Voice, my one-to-one program. And at the Women Thrive Summit in March, in my talk, How I Rebuilt My Confidence and Found My Voice Again, I'll be delving even deeper into how confidence, resilience, and CEO identity are rebuilt when you stop overriding yourself and start leading in a way your body can actually sustain. And I cannot wait to connect further with you there. I'll see you then.
Savannah, welcome. Oh, I loved your talk, and I can totally relate as a woman who also, through various experiences, lost my voice. I know just the silent battles that we as women fight a lot of the times that nobody really knows.
Exactly. 100%. I think we just put on a mask, don't we? We put on this shield, this suit of armor, and we just feel like we just need to keep on pushing through, keep on plowing forward to enable everyone else to be able to live their life really well too. And actually, it's all about putting your own gas mask on first, isn't it? Putting that mask on first. Another analogy, you can't pour from an empty cup. You've got to keep your cup full so that you can help everybody else around you, whether that is your family, your friends, your clients, whatever sort of facet that is. I think looking after yourself is just more important than ever in this very fast-paced world that we're living in.
Yeah. This is what we stand for, really empowering women and supporting women to grow and thrive. But why do you think it's important for women to reclaim our voices and stand in the confidence of it?
Because they've got so many great things to say, because they've got so many great things to offer, because there are too many women out there who are the best kept secret in their life and in their industry. And oh, hi, Maya Rose. Oh,
She's awake.
And they just need to find their wisdom and their innate authenticity that's already there. It might have just been chipped away at over time, or, as I was saying in my talk, overridden by something, or it's just been eroding and disappearing. And they need somewhere where someone can meet them where they're at right now and listen to where they are at the moment. And I can see so many things in women that they can't see themselves. Yeah. And my role is to then bring that out of them. Yeah,
because a lot of times, we don't see our own shine. And definitely when I was going through difficult times, it was so challenging because I couldn't see myself clearly. I couldn't see my value, but other people did, and sometimes it requires somebody else to just really point it out and support you through that journey. Unfortunately, at the time, I didn't know there was coaching or that kind of support available. And sometimes you just don't realize what you're going through in the moment. It's like you're sitting in the dark and you can't find your way out. Yeah. So you need that support. And that's what I said when we opened. It's like, we got to have these conversations because this might be a light bulb moment for someone right now.
Absolutely.
Oh, Savannah, what can we expect at the Women Thrive Summit when you're speaking in March?
Oh my goodness, I just cannot wait. I'm so excited. I'll be talking a little bit more about my signature framework, which is voice. So values, ownership, identity, capacity, and expression. That's my voice framework, and that's what I delve into in my program. And so I'll be talking about that a little bit in my talk, but I'll also be sharing a little bit more about my story, and there might be a bit of interactivity as well of some exercises that I take my clients through that have got really, really good results. So be prepared to get involved in my talk if you're showing up to see me. That is definitely what I'll be including, which I'm very excited about.
I love it. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing talk, Savannah. I'm really excited that you're taking part in the Women Thrive Summit this year. And thank you for showing up today and sharing your truthful message with our audience today.
And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. This was Savannah. Do make sure you connect with her on her social media channels, Savannah Madden. And do make sure you connect with all of our speakers. If somebody has inspired you today, let them know. Send them a message. Reach out to them. Stalk them on social media channels, because this is where true, real connection starts. Right, we are moving on to our next speaker. And as you may see, just ever so briefly, I do have my little co-host here. She is only 3 months old, and she surely is gaining her little voice. So you might hear her squeaking in the background. So, yes, I'm very proud to bring my daughters into my business and let them observe what it is that we do and really pave the way for other women, because I think this is why we do what we do, to pave the way for others, whether it's our daughters, our children, our, our grandkids, or our communities, our friends, or just women we never know who we are going to impact or inspire. And this is why it's so important for us to show up and share our message. So let's continue. Share in a chat where you're joining from, and if you're here to support somebody specifically, or you just wanting to meet all the speakers here today, let us know. Okay, my next speaker is 𝐤𝐬𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐡𝐢𝐧𝐠 𝐤𝐬𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐡𝐢𝐧𝐠 is an award-winning brand strategist, business founder, and coach with 16 plus years of bankable experience. She's worked with top global brands and helped smart women flip their personal brands from meh to magnetic, all the way to the bank. And her current chapter, Grace, the Grace Standard, is rooted in rebranding her own life, choosing personal grace, and building a life that is intentional, sincere, and quietly determined. I love that. Sharia, welcome. Where are you joining from?
Thank you. I'm joining from Nairobi, Kenya, and so excited to be here. And gosh, Savannah's theme was so apt. I could see myself in her story. And it is absolutely, like you say, a powerful reminder that stories can bring people together. It can heal parts of us that we don't even know need healing, and things that we're afraid to say can be called out. So I think it was destiny that she was supposed to go in front of me.
Yeah, Sharia. I think, this event is a huge blend of intertwining messages that flows from one to the next, and it's always the case. And I love, and I can't wait to see what you got to share. By the way, Nairobi has been on my watch list,
We
a
should
place
have a
that I
women's session here. I think you should do one of your sessions here.
it's been on my agenda to plan a trip there, so you might see me pop up to Nairobi sometime soon.
In that case, I will hold you to it.
For sure, for sure. I'll be bringing my little girls with me.
Absolutely. It is the perfect place for young girls.
Amazing. Sure, sure. Go ahead. Look forward to hearing your talk, and I'll be back at the end to chit chat with you.
Great. Thanks. So, ladies, do you have that one perfect dress? The one that makes people say, "Oh my God, you look incredible." And you smile, but inside it is squeezing you so hard you cannot breathe. Well, that's where my life landed last year. As Ramonda said, I'm an award-winning brand strategist, and I've spent my life asking, does it have to be this way? Born in Kenya and raised across 3 continents, I learned early that if there isn't a seat at the table for you, you build your own. And so I did. I built a premium brand studio with a mission to create space for women to find their voice and to take up room. I do it in my work, I do it in my coaching, and I even do it as a spin coach, because I've learned confidence isn't just in the mind, it's something you nurture in your body. From the outside, it looked inspiring, but privately, I was becoming a fraud, the one who could empower everyone except herself. Roll around this time last year, 2025, and I decided I needed to level up, yet more output, yet more discipline. But nature had other ideas. My body started sending me signals. At first, it was discomfort, the kind you brush off because you're fine. And then whispers turned into warnings. Endless nights from the bathroom floor, shakes, sweats, intense pain. It got really ugly. And I remember this one thought clear as day. Please, not now. Not now, because I have clients and deadlines and classes to teach, a life to keep performing. This isn't convenient. And of course, then came the tsunami. I was diagnosed with a chronic autoimmune disease. And I felt cheated because I followed all the rules to being healthy. And the me I knew disappeared. I started shrinking in rooms, scanning for exits, living with constant anxiety. I could ride 12 high-intensity spin classes a week with pride. Then I could barely manage 2. So I will ask you the question I couldn't answer back then. What do you do when the version of you that you built your whole life around suddenly disappears? This became my breaking point and maybe my beginning. When everything feels uncertain, you return to that one thing you can do with your eyes closed. For me, that was branding. So I decided to take everything I knew and rebrand my life. Not the aesthetic, but the relationship and the rules. First principle of branding. In every powerful story, there's a hero. And here's the part that still stings. I wasn't living like one, but I was asking other women to. I was treating myself like a machine. And maybe you know this feeling when your calendar is packed and your standards are brutal and your inner voice just does not clock out. So the rebrand started here. I am the hero of my life, not the workhorse of it. Yes, easy to say, harder to rewrite. So I had to unlearn a lifetime of thinking and habits and learn a new rhythm. Not the rhythm of proving, but the rhythm of listening. A rhythm where I stop before I snap, and where rest isn't a reward, where I don't wait for my body to scream before I pay attention. And maybe this is the moment you pause and reflect. Where in your life are you treating yourself like the labor instead of the person you're meant to protect? Do you really want to wait for your cord to snap? I would certainly hope not. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And then came the second principle, my brand promise to myself. The standard I'm still learning to live by, grace. And grace not as a fad, but as a decision to stop punishing myself for being human. And I need to say this because people can be cruel. After my diagnosis, I heard things like, you did this to yourself. This is what overachievers get. And it was as if illness was my moral failure or my pain was a punishment. And so if the world wasn't going to show me grace, I was going to give it to myself. To be honest, I don't even know what grace meant for me in that season or how to live it. I just knew I couldn't survive the old way. And after trying to keep my head above water, I ended up in a sound healing session, the kind old me would have called unproductive. And in that stillness, something cracked. I found myself apologizing to my body in a shaking and deeply honest way. I'm sorry I didn't listen. I'm sorry I treated you like an obstacle. And I'm sorry I only loved you when you could keep up. And I made a pact. I will take care of you. You can trust me again. It is safe. That was the moment grace stopped being a concept and became a commitment. And if I can leave you with one thing for 2026, if your body could speak without fear, what would it ask you to change? Not to be impressive, but to be safe. This is what I'm exploring right now, deeply raw and deeply human. What it means to rebrand your life with grace. If this lands, join me at the summit and we can discover grace together. Thank you.
Oh, Sharia. Oh, thank you so much. I know.
Sorry about that.
You do not need apologize for bringing your emotions along with you, because that shows us, we're all humans, and some of our experiences and stories we do share on this stage are deeply personal, and it's things that you have had to go through, and you brought it here for our audience to witness. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you to the entire community at Women Thrive, because I don't think I would have had the courage to delve even into exploring this idea, or to be honest or raw, if it wasn't for the community. And like you said at the start, there's so much work that goes behind the scenes, and that this is living proof of that work.
Yeah. We always, it's like we have to plant seeds in the dark. And
Yeah.
when I think about myself and many of the women that we have within community, who would we be if we didn't have these challenges? Like, would we still have that same passion burning and same purpose and mission in our lives if we didn't have to go through difficult times? And even though, it is hard, maybe that's the battles we've been given to give us purpose and to show us what's on the other side, reason to fight. And you have gone through, battles and challenges in your life, but you're here to tell the story now and support and inspire other people.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah. What do you think is important for women to realize now? Maybe women who have gone through some of the similar experiences or challenges. What is an important wake-up call for women to have in this moment?
I think the biggest lesson I learned was I thought I knew who I was. But in truth, I had been so conditioned to looking at signs in my body, in my mind, that were set by external factors, right? Do you look a certain way? Do you work so many hours? Do you show up for friends and family in a certain way? The Sheryl Sandberg idea that you can have it all. Those were the things I was listening to. I was not listening to my insides, to my body. I was not listening to what my body and my mind were telling me. And I think if we can leave women with anything, and the generation that comes after us, is please learn to start listening to yourself deeper and more intentionally, because my God, the answers are in there. And you can save yourself a lifetime of agony and pain, and you will accomplish so much more, but in a kinder, more considerate way that serves you better.
Yeah, I love, the moment that you shared, making that commitment to yourself, listening to your body, because a lot of times we shut it out. We don't listen to our inner voice, but you held yourself in grace. And what a moment of softening ourselves to hold ourselves in that space. That's a really courageous thing to do.
Honestly, it probably hit me like a snowball, that experience, because I was least expecting it. I was expecting, what is grace going to show up? Is it an action? When you kind of conditioned yourself in, like, I must have these 5 habits, I must do these 10 things today to be better, healthier. That's what you're looking for grace to be like. So that experience completely flawed me. And I think it was a universe and my body's way of saying, just be. You don't need to do, just be. And in the stillness, something will reveal itself to you.
Yeah. The gifts usually comes in the moments of stillness.
Absolutely.
Oh, beautiful. I think just with your raw message and your willingness to show up today in this moment in time has touched someone's life. And I truly hope. Shreya, where can people find you to connect with you?
On Instagram and LinkedIn at 𝐶𝐬 𝐬𝐬. Come find me, share your story. I'd love to hear from anyone and everyone.
Amazing. Well, we look forward to seeing you at the Women Thrive Summit in March. And for now, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Shreya. Oh, this was our second speaker, and I think you're getting an idea of what the Women Thrive Summit is going to be like. And as you can see, women are not afraid to bring their truth, their vulnerable stories, and really go deeper beyond the surface. And I think this is what really needs to happen in order for us to have true transformation. So, are we courageous enough to keep going and meet more speakers and hear their stories? Are you ready to step into the rest of this event with us today? If you're ready, put a 1 in the comment and let's go. I am so excited that you're here, you're spending this time with us to be here and witness our speakers in their moment of shine today. Thank you so much, Maylene. I love seeing your comments. Keep them coming and encouraging our speakers today. Now, my next speaker is Annette Williams. She is cognitive behavioral therapist, author, and a former BBC TV exec. Now she helps women unblock their confidence, overcome fear, and say yes to the life they actually want. A founder of Silverbrook Hypnotherapy and author, Annette believes you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. And I know Annette has turned her experience into the purposeful work that she's doing today. Annette, warm welcome. How are you today?
I am very well and feeling very inspired after Savannah and Shreya's presentations. Just fired up. Fantastic.
Yes.
So excited.
And you've been on our showcase a few times. Every time you bring a new wonderful story to share with us, you're quite a storyteller.
Well, thank you. I take that as a compliment, and the intention behind it. But no, I think as Shreya said and Savannah, you said, we remember stuff through stories, and stories are the way we communicated way before any other type of technology was around. And I think they're the things that stay with you, good and bad. And so, yeah, hopefully mine are more on the good side.
Yeah. So in your previous career, you've spent many years on TV telling stories. Tell us a tiny bit about that.
Well, not technically on TV. I was the executive producer at BBC Children's, where I specialised in making factual entertainment programs. So I spent over 30 years working for the BBC. And it was such a privilege because you're talking to an audience that are at such a impressionable and important stage of their development, and having that opportunity to open their eyes to the world and to tell stories, to make children appreciate their potential, appreciate how they can contribute. It was a privilege and an honor, and yeah, I absolutely love it. And I use a lot of that experience in the work that I do now, because, as I said, you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience.
Yeah, wonderful, Annette. I look forward to hearing what you have to share today, and I'll be back at the end to pick it up with you.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Annette Williams, the confidence hypnotherapist. And I want to start with a word that makes some women feel slightly uncomfortable: ambition. Just notice how you responded to that. Interesting, isn't it? Because when a man is ambitious, he's seen as driven, visionary, leadership potential, all really, really good qualities. But when a woman is ambitious, she's often seen as pushy, demanding, or a little bit difficult. So not quite so positive. And many of the people I work with, many of the women in particular, will happily say that I'm motivated, committed, focused, passionate. But they hardly ever describe themselves as ambitious. And I think that's a problem. Because ambition is not about greed or ego. It's about growth. It's about having goals. It's about wanting more life, more fulfillment, more space to become who you really are. And when you are a woman, you're taught to be afraid of your ambition. And what actually happens there is you learn to shrink. They tend to stay quiet in meetings. They stop putting their hand up. They wait to be noticed. They tell themselves, I should be grateful. I just think, have you ever observed this happening? Or perhaps you recognize this quality in yourself. Well, let me share a case study with you. A client came to see me because she thought she lacked confidence. She had big dreams, big ideas, but she was stuck in a job where she was working endlessly towards someone else's goals, someone else's vision, someone else's ambitions. Day after day, stuck on the same hamster wheel. But as we worked together, something really interesting emerged. She didn't lack confidence at all. What she lacked, though, was opportunity. She was ambitious, but she had never given herself permission to acknowledge that. So she made a very, very brave decision. She changed career. She set up on her own, and she started working towards her own goals, not someone else's. And what happened was extraordinary. Her energy came back, her confidence soared, her motivation exploded. Not because she'd suddenly become a different person or something magical had happened when she was being hypnotized, but because she finally allowed herself to want what she wanted. And that's what ambition really is. It's not about climbing over people or stabbing them in the back. It's not hustling for validation or being a narcissist. But it is choosing not to abandon yourself, your hopes, or your dreams. So here's my invitation for you today. Whenever you have a quiet moment, I'd like you to ask yourself this question. If I wasn't worried about being judged, what would I allow myself to want? Not what you think is sensible, not what you think is allowed, what you actually want. And then write it down. Say it out loud. Get used to saying it and hearing it, even if it scares you a bit at first. Because ambition is not the enemy of women. Silencing it is. And when you give yourself permission to want more, you're not being selfish, you're being honest. And being honest is a catalyst for confidence. And we can all benefit from regularly checking in and making sure that that little voice inside our head isn't convincing us to take a direction we don't want to go. Remember, ambition isn't a dirty word, and you don't need to dilute your dreams, but you do need to find the courage to follow them. So if this has resonated with you, then I'd like to invite you to attend my session at the Women Thrive Summit on day 1. Week of Summit starts on March the 16th, because there we'll have much more time to get into what confidence is and isn't. And I can also share some of the insights I've gathered from my experience as a multi-award-winning TV producer and a cognitive behavioural hypnotherapist. And I really hope you can join me and all of the fabulous speakers at the summit. But until then, I'd love to hear from you and connect with you. You can find out more about me and what I do at my website. That's silverbrookhypnotherapy.co.uk. I'm silverbrook_hypnotherapy on Facebook and Instagram, and Annette Williams Silverbrook on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.
And this is for all the women who are still playing small. If you're still playing small and thinking that ambition is a dirty word, this is exactly why you need to be at the Women Thrive Summit 2026. So you can hear women like Annette, who's going to probably put light on the fire for you to go and pursue what it is that you meant to be doing. Because how many times we as women play small or find excuses or just say, hey, I just have to blend in, right? And I think you've seen that in your career many times over.
Absolutely. And also it's not being stuck in the mindset where what we start off in life doing is the thing we have to carry on doing. We grow and evolve as humans. We all do this, and we change, and what inspires us, and you know, we become passionate about changes. And you know, I had a nearly 40-year career. I changed career when I was 60, and I've got so much energy as a result of doing that. I've found a different purpose. I'm still using the skills that I've acquired during my previous career, but just applying them differently. And I hope that really genuinely does inspire people to think, look, if you know when you're stuck in a rut, but sometimes it's getting the confidence to break through. Like the client I worked with, she was brilliant. She had all these ideas. She's thriving now, but it was recognizing, no, what I want. That's why I asked the question, you know, if you weren't being judged, what is it you really want? And that can sometimes surprise you, and you've got to get used to recognizing that and going, it's okay. It's valid that I want this, and find a new purpose, a new direction.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I love that, you know, you're speaking again from experience. And to speak into that from my experience, I think hypnotherapy unlocked something for me, which was kind of fear of being successful. And it was interesting because I never would have put it down, because I've always been very ambitious as a young female. You know, I pursued my own business. I've always wanted to build my own success and create unlimited success, because I believe, you know, in a workplace, you are limited to whatever you're able to earn. But it was in the hypnotherapy session that I uncovered actually my trauma was holding me back, and that was contributing to fear of success. And I think again, that keeps us playing small in our careers.
I'm absolutely that, you know, the beliefs and the stories that we tell ourselves. It's not a conscious thing that we're doing. It may have been a self-preservation mechanism at the time where something happened, but we have this internal voice going on a loop, which often, very, very often, is factually inaccurate. And when you take the moment, whether it's through hypnotherapy or any type of talking therapy, or often you realize, and you literally see the light bulb go off in their mind, and they go, oh, that's not true, you know. Or in your case, Ramonda, it's like, oh, I understand now why I thought that at the time, and now is that still a valid belief to have? And often it isn't, but we still keep dragging these things around with us. And so yes, I'm delighted that hypnotherapy worked well for you, and because I see the results with my clients. But it's sometimes having that safe space to talk about it, and allowing ourselves that time and prioritizing ourselves to go, no, I need to get me right. As Savannah said, you know, you have to put your own air mask on for oxygen mask on first before you help us. Otherwise you can't fulfill your other purpose and other aspects of your life. So find out what it is and then challenge it, and you'll often have a breakthrough.
For me it was very much subconscious, so consciously I wasn't even aware of it. So that's why I think, you know, going deeper and listening to your inner voice is hugely powerful. And where do people connect with you?
Well, I'm at Silverbrook _ hypnotherapy on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Annette Williams Silverbrook on LinkedIn. And I'd love to connect. That's something that's been a real sort of powerful thing to come out of being involved in this community, is just the connections we make with people that I've got to know virtually via Zoom, but also people who've listened to these showcases and found something that connected with them. So please get in touch.
Amazing. Thanks, Annette. Lovely to see you here, and as always, love your storytelling.
My absolute pleasure. Good luck to everybody else. Thank you, Ramonda.
Thank you. Oh, what a wonderful showcase today. You're in for an absolute treat because we've got a few more amazing ladies on the deck. And it is quite early in some parts of the world, but yet some of our ladies waking up super early to be here or staying up late to be here, because our speakers are from all around the world. So we've been to UK, we've been to Nairobi, we're back to the UK. Now we headed to the United States because this wonderful woman, she is an early riser for our Women Thrive community, because she just loves hanging out with us in the wee hours of the day. So let's invite our wonderful Angel Dash, who is a flame keeper and sacred brand alchemist who helps soul-led visionaries, thought leaders, and heart-centered powerhouses become seen, trusted, and unforgettable with their true voice. She's a creator of the Trauma-Informed Bold Method and an author of upcoming book, Serpent and Strategy. Angel, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here and in the wee early hours of the day for sure.
Yeah, what time is over there?
Right now it is 2:48. I don't get sleep, so it works well for me.
You look gorgeous, by the way, if I may say so.
Thank you. You do as well, as always.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I didn't have to wake up as early, but you know, my children definitely keeps me up at night as well. Angel, you're quite a powerhouse and you bring quite something unique onto our platform and the stage. I don't want to be a spoiler, so I won't give away too much, but let's dive into your share today, and I'll come back at the end to have a conversation with you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Raimonda. Some of what we call healing is really just hiding with better language. Last year, many of us said we were healing. And to be clear, a lot of that work matters. We shed, we rested, we untangled survival patterns that once kept us breathing. But here's the uncomfortable part. At some point, shedding stops being medicine and starts becoming delay. If your life keeps getting smaller, quieter, less visible, it doesn't matter how aligned it sounds. That's not healing anymore. That's a box with better branding. And I want to say this clearly. Nothing is wrong with you for needing that season. The year of the snake was about survival, nervous system repair, truth telling in private. But seasons change, whether we're ready for it or not. And what once protected you can quietly become the thing that keeps you unseen. This year carries a different energy. The year of the fire horse isn't introspective, it's kinetic. Fire horse energy doesn't sit still. It moves, it travels, it gets witnessed. The fire horse doesn't ask, am I enough? She asks, am I willing to be seen while I move? And that's where shit gets real. Because many of us weren't afraid to heal in private. We were afraid to be seen in motion, afraid to be misunderstood. We learned to dim and to shrink just to fit into rooms we were never meant to survive in. And I don't say that theoretically. I say it as someone whose body, identity, and leadership were shaped inside systems that rewarded silence and punished difference. I'm a disabled veteran who walks with a cane. I'm neurodivergent, I'm queer, and I've built and scaled 4 businesses across multiple industries until burnout forced me to radically redefine success, leadership, and sustainability. For a long time, I thought visibility meant proving I belonged in rooms that were never designed to hold me. What I actually learned instead was that shrinking doesn't create safety. It just delays the reckoning. I'm Angel Dash, a flame keeper and sacred brand alchemist, like Raimonda said. And most people don't need more time before they're visible. They need permission to stop protecting the box that once kept them safe. In March, at the Women Thrive Summit, I'll be giving a talk called Burn the Box. Not because the box was the enemy, but because it once kept us safe and safety no longer fits. Eventually, it becomes a prison. So if you feel the fire rising and you don't know what to do with it yet, good. That means you're alive and you're closer than you think. Thank you.
Angel, time to burn that box and step into your magic. Oh, I loved your share. And I think your talk for the Women Thrive Summit is going to be phenomenal. Genuinely, I love your title, The Flame Keeper. Where did that come from? And why is it that you stand so passionate about the work that you're doing today?
The term Flame Keeper came to me actually in a vision. And it started with me walking down a very dark hallway. And at the end of this hallway, there was a woman silhouette. And behind her, she was holding like a flame. And when I got closer to her, I realized that the flame was in her heart, but she was holding a torch. And then she lit the torch with her flame in her heart, and then she handed it to me. And from there, I realized that I don't want to just be a person that speaks. I don't want to just be a person that does branding. I don't want to be a person that just does one thing. I am part of so many different communities as a disabled veteran, as a queer entrepreneur, as all of these different things. And I want to be that safe place for others. And I am very fiercely protective of the ones that I call home, the ones that are close to my heart. So that's where Flame Keeper came from.
Yeah. Amazing. Angel, I'm so thrilled that you found your fire and you're here lighting the fire for other women, kind of trailblazing the path, because so many times we question ourselves, we trying to find our path, our truth, our what lights us up. And I think this year, it's time for women to really stand together and blaze this trail together, and no more holding back and no more leaving anyone behind.
I absolutely agree. And just like Annette said, and Shreya and Savannah, everyone that's in the Women Thrive community, it's such a close knit, and we are all building each other up every single day, every single time, every single minute. And that's what this community is all about. And I'm so thankful that we found it together.
Yeah, definitely. Angel, where do people connect with you?
Easy enough. At Angel-Branding Co. Make sure that you spell out my last name dash, not just put a dash, because that happens a lot. And that's on all the platforms itself. And I am mostly on Instagram.
Yeah, I love that. Angel, I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the Women Thrive Summit. I think it's going to be magical. And for those women who really want to maybe start the conversation, connect with Angel on her social media channels, reach out to her, let her know how much you perhaps been inspired by today's conversation. I really hope that this transformation begins here. As you hear us speakers, as you hear these conversations, this is the moment that we plant the seed for your transformation. And hopefully we're going to have an enriched experience during the Women Thrive Summit in March.
I'm so excited.
Thank you, Angel. Get some sleep. You look wonderful. I am so proud of our speakers who are waking up so early to be here at literally wee hours of the day. Our next wonderful speaker, again, is joining from United States, Arkansas. Dr. R.G. Nell Nichols is a visionary speaker, estate and legacy mentor, and a creator of Her Legacy Framework. With over 45 years of experience in education and leadership, R.G. empowers women 55 plus to shape their spiritual, emotional, rational, and financial legacies. Good morning, R.G.
Good morning, Ramonda. I am honored to be here early in the morning.
Very early, very early. What time is it out there?
I think, let me see, it's 3 something. I'm just an hour behind or ahead of Angel. So, yeah.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here, for dedicating the time at such time of the day to share your message with us. RG, we got an opportunity to hang out together. And guess what I have here?
Oh, yeah.
Our cover of the Women Thrive magazine, and there you are, standing with us. So that was such a moment.
That was fun. Yeah.
I'm excited to hear what you have to share, but at the end of your talk, I'll be here to chit chat with you. So over to you, my dear.
Thank you. So, ladies, I have a very hard question to ask you today. If you die tomorrow, do you have your affairs in order? I don't mean the paperwork. I'm talking about relationships, your story, your love, your forgiveness, your voice. A will, after you pass, is a piece of paper that helps divide property. But only a legacy can heal a family. As Ramonda said, I've spent 45 years in education, teaching, leading, mentoring, and watching beautiful women give everything they have to everyone else, often overlooking their care to take care of their family and others. Now, I also come from Cherokee lineage, where I believe there's something very, very sacred. No one truly dies until their story is no longer spoken. Too many times I've watched brilliant women pass away with huge, full bank accounts and an empty room of memories. I've spent years watching children argue over stuff, over property, over their house, over jewelry, but never hear their mother's wisdom. I've watched families inherit things, but not peace. So one day I was standing in the middle of my own family's grief, and I realized something. We prepare people to retire, but we never prepare them to be remembered. As Ramonda said, I am 45 years in education, a leadership educator, master financial coach, and a legacy mentor. But let me tell you how that legacy mentor got started. I started it out of a dream, as in, what if no one had to go through what I've gone through? This is just not right. So from that, Her Life Legacy was born. Her, H-E-R, H stands for your story, and you need to honor that story. E stands for educate, where you educate the next generations that follow you. And R stands for rise. That's where we want wise women to come into their own power. Her Life Legacy is not about dying well with lots of stuff. It's about living in a way that leaves no love unspoken. So now I'm going to ask you that same question again, but this time I'm going to be a little gentler. If you die tomorrow, would your family just inherit your things, or would they know the real truth? So if something just whispered in your heart, I'm not done yet, that's not fear, ladies. That's not fear. That's you rising up into your golden chapter, and it's you getting ready to tell your golden chapter. So I invite you to come along with me and write your legacy through Her Life Legacy program. This is a guided journey. Now, I can't tell your story. I can tell mine. But it's your story about healing, about your faith and your family. It's where they all come together on purpose. I leave your legacy, a lot of people do, leave their legacy to chance. In my program, I don't leave it to chance. I hold your hand, I walk by your side, and I help you tell your story. So join me in Her Life Legacy and let's tell it together. Thank you.
RJ, wow. Your powerful words about legacy being the thing that heals, not divides your family. And it really hit home for me of the power that we have whilst we're still here to create an impact that lives beyond us. And for me, that's what truly legacy, and so many ways that you describe it, it's a powerful reminder, I think, for women to don't wait for that moment. Build your legacy now and see how that can really heal and create history for your family. And that's really, really magical.
Absolutely. I think that, as I mentioned, stems from my Cherokee roots. I was raised by my Cherokee grandparents, and man, they instilled a lot of sweet things in my soul. And I want to share that. I want other women to know. Maybe their story is just as important as mine from my Cherokee past. But if you don't tell it, somebody else will tell it, and it won't be the right story.
Yeah. You shared something quite personal and special in volume 4 of the Women Thrive book. And I know that was the first time you actually shared your personal story. What was the moment that sparked that courage to say, I need to share my story with the world?
Enough is enough. I was 68 years old when I finally told my real story. I think for years I'd been hiding it. Maybe I was a little bit ashamed, even though I've had tremendous success in my career, in my life. But it took me losing my brother. He was older, but not that much older. We kind of grew up like twins, raised by our Cherokee grandparents. And I realized that he left this earth way too soon. And he didn't get to tell his story. He lived his story every day. And then I wanted to share that. And I wanted to talk about our childhood growing up. So it took a lot of strength, a lot of tears for me to tell that story. But I'm glad I did. It was a healing event in my life.
Yeah. And now you're unstoppable because you came out of your very long career, started your own business. Now you support other women to turn their lives into their legacies. And I know you're writing another book, which is very exciting.
I am. I hope to have it out this coming year. And it is about legacy. It's about a very unique story and a very unique friend that I made through grief. And I think it was, God whispers to us all the time about things we need to do. And here lately, I think he's not whispering anymore. He's screaming. So it's time for me to get this book written. It's going to be an exciting book.
RG, I'm so thrilled to have you at the Women Thrive Summit. I think it's going to be a really, really interesting session that we're going to have with you. And where do people connect with you?
I am on all the platforms just under my name, my full name, RGARGIE, middle name, Nell, Nell, last name Nichols, Nichols. And herlifelegacy.com is my website. So go out there and take a look. I'm still telling my story. And as Angel was saying, I burnt that box. And I'm on that horse riding right now. So I'm kind of looking forward to the next few years.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. You are magical. I love, the connection that we made with you over the year and continue on this beautiful journey to empower other women. So thank you so much for being here and waking up so early to share your beautiful story with us.
You're very welcome. It is an honor for me to be here with these fabulous ladies. I have to say that's been one of the highlights of my older life, is to meet all these beautiful ladies and connect, and the friendships that I've made are just absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you. Really appreciate it. I receive, RG. I receive, and we shall make many more beautiful connections and invite our community to be part of this beautiful experience. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, this was Dr. RG Nell Nichols. Make sure you grab our Women Thrive Volume 4 book to read her story in full. What a magical story. And I've been truly blessed to be the behind the scenes person to witness our authors in their moment of courage to share their stories. And through that, witness their healing, because as you've heard today, when we share our stories, not only we heal ourselves, but we create healing for others, and we open the doors for conversation, for growth, for all of us to speak our truth and really step into our power. So check out all the Women Thrive volumes. We have 4 books out now with amazing women who have contributed their stories. And of course, as RG mentioned, we also have Women Thrive magazine, where a lot of our community contribute their stories, their articles. March is always a special edition volume. So this was 2025 special edition volume. Then we had an amazing event in Miami to launch our books. But we try to create opportunities for women to connect, not only virtually, which is the Power of the Women Thrive Summit that is going to be in March, but also in person. So as much as we can, we try to bring together our community to have these moments where we can be in each other's presence and create these meaningful connections. So our next upcoming event is going to be happening in London, June 5th and 6th. And if you are able to get to London, we'd love to have you there. The tickets are going to be announced in just a few days. So you got to be on our mailing list to be the first to know. Every month, we're going to be releasing just 50 tickets all the way up to June. So be the first one to find out and save your spot. This is going to be a beautiful event in London, which is our home city. This is where we begun our journey in 2017 with hosting events. And this time around, we have hired a venue in Notting Hill in the beautiful, historic, and so multicultural, multidimensional, beautiful Notting Hill. So we have a theater there and we have 250 people venue booked out. So we hope to see you there at this event if you are able to. But in the meantime, let's meet more of the Women Thrive Summit speakers. This event is our annual flagship event where our community gathers virtually. It really started during the course of pandemic when we had to pivot our in-person events to virtual, but it was a blessing in disguise that allowed me to see that there is such a magic in bringing the community from all around the world and seeing all these women sharing their stories, making connections. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. So if you're watching this, make sure you head over to womenthrivesummit.com. Save your spot, save your free spot. And if you want to have more meaningful engagements with our speakers and have replay access, upgrade your ticket as well, because there's going to be some really wonderful goodies that our speakers have prepared for you. All right, who's ready to meet our next speaker? And I've seen her in a green room hanging out. I got the opportunity to hang out with Angelina a few times, actually, and just witness her in her power and the work that she does. So Angelina Badri, it doesn't motivate, she disrupts. And truly, it is so. Using neuroscience, human behavior, and real world lived experience, she reveals why leaders get stuck and how to break the patterns that quietly sabotage trust and performance. Her bold, practical approach equips audiences to challenge the default and lead in the ways that actually work under pressure. Angelina, welcome to the stage. Great to have you here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Where are you joining us from?
I am dialing in from Brisbane, Australia.
Amazing. Well, I'll hand over the mic to you, and I'll come back in the end to have a chat.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Hello, beautiful human beings. So great to be with you here. It's truly an honor. I want to start off by asking you a question, or maybe a self-reflective question more so. When you first went into your workplace, did you initially feel excited and optimistic, really energized and thinking, yes, I'm going to, share my genius, I'm going to create change and value, only to unfortunately over time really feel that whole level of excitement come into feeling smaller, tighter, and just change completely? That excitement, the optimistic belief suddenly change because you found yourself having to adapt and change to suit and survive within that workplace. And now I know that might sound a little harsh or maybe confronting, but that's really a big truth, isn't it? And so depending on where you are in your career or the experience you've had, I'm going to share with you some truths from my lived experience, because I was that optimistic person. And I'm going to share with you as a truth teller and as the human value disruptor, ways in which the workplace somewhat seems to really impact and shape who you are. Maybe for the better, maybe for some not so much, that then creates that requirement to change. And so I want to share this with you because as human beings, we actually are wired to seek things that enable us to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel like we're part of a community, to have a bit of certainty. So what do we do when we're then in work environments? We do the same thing in terms of adapt to be able to survive those workplaces. Now, for many people in workplaces, unfortunately, however, we get negatively impacted. And so I recall, unfortunately, going through my career, really having that experience of stepping into a workplace survivor identity to really try and just cope with the challenges, cope with the expectations, cope with other people's beliefs, stories, norms of what you can and can't do. Now, I've spent over 15 years in a high-risk, high-pressure environment in male-dominated industries. Think of me as a woman in oil and gas, mining, construction, all these environments where previously I'd step into rooms that weren't designed with us women in mind, let alone workplaces that actually weren't designed with the human in mind. And so I went through my career and did what most of us have been told and conditioned to do as we get older. And the unfortunate thing is, we don't actually get taught any of this at school. I don't know about you, but I know about me. When I went through high school or even university, you were never given the guidebook on how to actually, survive in your workplace. You learned technically the information that you went to really strengthen your understanding about, and then off you go with that optimism, that innocence, to only then step into a very different reality, trying to navigate around office politics, around the way in which people place you in a box, as was mentioned. And so for me, I found that the narrative of actually being told how to be, who to be, influenced and changed my mannerism, my identity. And so even though I went through and took corporate roles, went and spent time in the field in high-risk environments, I found myself continuing to play by someone else's playbook and story at the cost of my health. And so I would always think that it was the workplace that was a bit of the issue or the problem, if you want to use that wording, right? And so you would go to another workplace, another business, another work environment, only to find that you would be in the same position, triggered by the same things and frustrations. And so what I found over time was the value and importance of noticing that when you are in your workplace, that there are these mirror moments that give you such insight in terms of these ripple effects that happen from that is all related to you and your internal human operating system. And so what I have learned over my time in my career and stepping out, creating my own company, my firm, Universal Safety Wellness, is teaching people and organizations, leaders, and disrupting the industry on how we can think, feel, act, and lead differently from a place where we don't create these identities for people to be workplace survivors, but actual workplace disruptors. People that take that passion, that enthusiasm that you started with, and actually continue to thrive in any workplace, in any environment, because your internal patterns have been identified, have been disrupted, and realigned to come back to your truth, back to who you have always been designed to be, not someone that has been molded, shaped, changed, altered to survive the environments that you've been placed in different workplaces. So I am so excited for the talk in the Women's Thrive Summit, because I'm going to be talking about all things leading as a human differently, as a woman in the industry, as a human being who actually operates in high risk, high pressure environments from my position of truth and power. So I really want to invite you to take action today. Choose to do something different today, to move away from being a workplace survivor, but actually stepping into your truth. I would love to invite you to join in, listen in, participate in the Women Thrive Summit, in my speech, but also stay connected. Reach out to me in LinkedIn and let's share our whole story, our journey around transformation of how we can go from triggered to transformed in any work environment that you find yourself in. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for sharing this space with me.
Oh, Angelina, I love having you here on our space. I just want to say there is a repeat for me.
Oh, shame.
So if there is, you have your volume turned up a little bit.
Maybe.
You could turn it down just tiny bit so we can have a conversation.
Does that change anything?
Let's see. Yeah, that's much better. Thank you so much. So Angelina, I have a cover of the Women Thrive magazine where you were featured in September. I love this cover and the courageous and bold look that you have there. What gives you courage to really step out and maybe do the work that you do in environments that's mainly male dominated?
I feel so compelled to really help people disrupt the norm. I think, unfortunately, we have all been conditioned to follow an old script. We've been conditioned, even within society, of who we're meant to be, how we're meant to live our lives, the roles that we're meant to step into. And I've unfortunately seen a lot of people who have suffered in doing that. Showing up in workplaces where they've been negatively impacted, which should never be the case, right? I believe that we show up to do what we love, to have enjoyment and playfulness wherever we are, and not have it be at a cost of our lives or our well-being and our happiness.
Yeah. Angela, what can people expect at the Women Thrive Summit at your talk?
Oh, they can expect something different. So I'm all about doing things differently. At the Women Thrive Summit, we are going to really make people step into discomfort, because that is where change occurs. That is where growth occurs. So I'm going to be ripping off the Band-Aids, talking about many things workplace related as well as human related. So us as individuals, how we're designed, how we respond, the triggers, and what we need to do differently in order to really elevate who we choose to be, empower ourselves to really evolve and step into being our authentic self, and not continue as the person that's been shaped and molded to survive in environments that weren't really designed to have us thrive in those places.
Yeah, thank you for raising awareness of that. How can people connect with you?
Perfect. So I am on LinkedIn, Angelina Badri, and you can also find a bit more information about me on my company website, Universal Safety Wellness, and Instagram, Angelina_Badri_USW.
Amazing. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for showing up and sharing your message with our audience today.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelina. And I love this. This is one of my favorite covers, actually, and her story was just phenomenal. So make sure you go over to Women Thrive magazine and grab the copy, either digitally or in print, of the September issue of the Women Thrive magazine. Oh, how are we all doing? Let's have a moment to check in. Have you been inspired by the conversations? Maybe there was a planted seed within you to do something differently, maybe show up from a place of grace, gratitude, or reinvention. Let us know how you're feeling today, and have you signed up for the Women Thrive Summit yet? If not, head over to womentthrivesummit.com, save your spot for the upcoming summit. And this is where you get to hang out with our speakers. This is just a snippet of what you're going to get at the final event. So I think it's time to save your spot. My next wonderful speaker is Emily Jackson, who is a sales professional, speaker, coach, and an author. And she is a career transition coach and esteemed speaker. As an experienced conqueror over self-doubt, anxiety, and confusion, Emily helps women discover their path and their purpose in life. Her ability to self-reflect, pivot, and succeed no matter the adversity is apparent in her diverse career background in industries such as fitness, higher education, aviation, collage sports, and tech industry. Emily, welcome. Good morning. I know it's super early there for you as well.
Good morning. How are you? I love doing the morning showcase. I mean, normally I don't wake up at 4 a.m., but I don't know, it gets my day, like, just to start your day with inspiration. For anybody who's not done that, it will make your day. So I know I'm going to have a wonderful day after this.
Emily, so great to have you here. You're also on the cover of the Women Thrive magazine this month. I don't have a copy yet because they haven't arrived yet, but congratulations. It was wonderful to interview you for the cover this month.
Thank you so much. Yes, just to have the opportunity to be a part of that was just amazing. And, with your guidance as well. And I loved our conversation. I just feel like it's always a pleasure to, speak with like-minded women and just to really learn from one another. And that's what that conversation was. And if you get that magazine, and if you read my article there, you're just gonna kind of start to dive into some self-reflection, which I'll talk about today, which, I think is really something that everyone should be doing, especially this time of year, right? In January. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, I won't delay your time on stage yet anymore, and I'll come back at the end and we'll pick up a conversation from there.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining this morning. It's great to be on the Women Thrive Showcase. I always enjoy being a part of this. And, today I want to tell you a story about a woman who felt stuck. She felt lost. She felt unsure of herself and really just incapable in most aspects of her life. She found herself just floating along and really with no direction, and wondered, how did this happen? Everyone always told her, oh, you're such a hard worker, you're very determined, you will be successful. And yet, that just hadn't happened yet. It was not realized in her life. And she wondered, what am I doing wrong? What does even success look like for me? How do I get there? And then she unfortunately started to think maybe it just wasn't in the cards for her. But that woman then realized, looking back on all the things she'd already accomplished, yes, it wasn't success in her life yet, but she's done hard things and she has stepped out of her comfort zone. So if she did it then, she can do it again and make even bolder moves. But she just needed to figure out where to start. That woman was me, Emily Jackson, about 8 years into my fitness industry career. And I was realizing that I just needed something different. That career path was just no longer serving me, but I wasn't sure how to make a change. I didn't know where to start, didn't know what I was capable of. I mean, what am I even good at besides this? So I started a self-reflection journey to determine not only what my strengths and my skill sets were, my likes and dislikes, but also to figure out what were those next steps towards my dream career. And you know what I found that was actually the most valuable piece of that self-reflection journey? I found confidence. I found an awakening of what I am capable of. And this continues to grow in me today, all because of just a few simple steps in a self-reflection journey. So I'm going to share a little bit of that with you today. And just by listening to this showcase, you can get started on your self-reflection journey right now. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to make a list. Yes, I'm giving you some homework today if it's early morning, afternoon. Sorry about that, but I love lists and I think they're very valuable. So I want you to make a list of your likes and dislikes about your current role or your career path right now. And you want to think about specific scenarios or maybe aspects. So an example for me, in that fitness role, I was managing a group of student staff. I loved doing the trainings for them and working on self-development with them, and especially seeing how they developed from freshman year to senior year. So that tells me that I like mentorship, leadership, and management. So, okay, my next career path needs to incorporate that. Next, I want you to start thinking about personal values. And now this is something that I'm sure you've probably thought of before, but it's something that it's good to kind of dive deeper in and think about as the decades go and different areas or different times in your life. So I want you to think about what's the most important thing in your life, or some of the most important things in your life and in your workplace. You want to ask yourself, what gives you great joy? That's going to help you determine what your values are. So for example, for me, what brings me great joy is collaboration. I love being a part of a community. I love teamwork and I love connection. So again, that tells me that my next career pivot, it needs to incorporate that value. So that's something I need to hone in on. Lastly, I want you to determine your transferable skills. So this is where I want you to get with your network. I'm challenging you this week. I want you to speak with someone in your network, a colleague, a mentor, whomever it may be, and ask them what they see as your top 5 skill sets. I know this seems like a little bit of an awkward conversation, but I guarantee you this will bring a fresh and well-rounded perspective on what you thrive at. And then you can bring that information again to start your search for that next career shift, right? You're going to know, okay, I didn't know I was good at that, but my mentor or my network says these are some skill sets I have. Wow, I can take this to move forward in that next career pivot. So these steps are just a great starting point for you not only to decipher your career direction, but also get to know yourself. And when you know yourself, you build confidence. And when you build confidence, you make bold moves that lead you to your best self and your dream career. So if you're someone that's feeling stuck or lost and in your career path and you want to just discover your next steps and figure out where you should go, I want you to tune into my Switch Up and Step Up talk during the Women Thrive Summit. I'll be presenting on day 1, so March 16th. So I'd love for you to join. I'm going to share a little bit more about my journey. And I know Ramonda mentioned at the beginning, I've been in a lot of different directions with my career. So I definitely know about career pivots and transitions. And I'd love to share that with you and help you on your next career path. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your time this morning. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you.
Emily, thank you so much for sharing these words of wisdom.
Ray, it's cut out. I can't hear you.
Okay, no problem. That's okay.
Well, I'll just say real quick that if you want to connect with me, I'd love to connect. If you're listening today or if you're watching the replay, please reach out on LinkedIn. You can find me at just Emily Jackson. I'm very active there. You can also find me on Facebook, and then you can find my website at apluswomen.com. I'd love to connect. You know, as I mentioned, one of my values being collaboration, connection. So I want to connect with you. So please reach out. I'd love to help you out, and just definitely tune in to the Women Thrive Summit. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Emily, for being here. I know she can't hear me, but what a great talk. And just a reminder to really tune into ourselves and take care of ourselves. Emily, I'm excited to have you here at the Women Thrive Summit. And thank you so much for sharing your message. Make sure you grab the cover of the Women Thrive magazine for January and read Emily's story. Thanks so much, Emily. And we'll see you at the Women Thrive Summit. Wow, what a showcase. How are you all doing? Are you enjoying it? We have just 2 more speakers left for today's showcase, so don't go anywhere. Let's find out who's joining us next on the Women Thrive stage. Now, my next speaker is Dana S. Diaz, who is a best-selling, award-winning author and a global speaker and a podcaster. Her memoir trilogy was inspired by her long life experience with abuse and domestic violence and the healing journey she was led on as a result. Dana has been featured on over 300 podcasts and now takes virtual and live stages to show women how to reclaim their voices by choice and saying no to whatever doesn't align with who they truly are and what they truly desire. Dana, welcome.
Good morning, or it's very early in the morning here where I'm at in the world. Good evening to everybody else.
Great to have you here. I know you've taken time to wake so early to be here, so I'm excited for our audience to get to know you today.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Can we just adjust the camera a little bit so we can see your mouth a little bit more? So just in case people who might be, because we do have people who potentially lip read, so it's really important that we do see your entire face. So thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Dana. I'll hand over the mic to you and I'll be back at the end.
Great. Thank you so much. If I asked you to describe yourself in just one word, what's the first word that would come to mind? And I don't want you to overthink it. Share it in the chat if you'd like, or you can just write it down. Now I want you to think of a second word, a different word, one that represents who you want to be. And again, if you'd like to share that, that's fine. Otherwise, write it down and keep that handy. We'll come back to both words. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dana S. Diaz, but at 4 years old, I overheard my mother refer to me as an accident and a mistake. I didn't understand exactly what those words meant back then, but I did feel the shame implied in my mother's hushed tone. So I withdrew, I shrunk back, because that hadn't been the first time I'd heard my mother speak negatively about me. I'd heard her talk about how she hadn't wanted me at all many times before that. Add to that the emotional neglect, the physical and verbal abuse my stepfather inflicted upon me, the bullying I endured at school. At some point, I internalized the idea that there was something inherently wrong with me. I just assumed no one could like me, never mind ever love me. And by high school, I struggled with suicidal ideation because I began to believe my stepfather's words that I shouldn't have ever even been born. And that belief instilled a feeling of unworthiness in me to even exist. And that feeling followed me into adulthood. It showed up in every interaction I ever had, in every single aspect of my personal and also my professional life. It led me into an abusive marriage that I remained in for 25 years, and other relationships where I tolerated less than I deserved and felt guilty for asking for the little that I did. It made me a people pleaser, so I shined at work. I looked driven, responsible, ambitious, all the things. But on the inside, I was exhausted, constantly proving, constantly performing, earning praise like a dog does tricks for treats, but always feeling like less than regardless. And eventually that emotional distress manifested into physical illness, autoimmunity, organ systems malfunctioning, a rare lung syndrome that the neurologists likened to having COPD and fibromyalgia all together. And they said it was a result of what they called chronic stress. But that wasn't just stress. That wasn't just living in fight or flight mode for 4 decades. It was all those words that had been spoken to me and about me, but which had been held there by my own perpetuation of them. It was that shame quietly running in the background of every decision and action and behavior, telling me, you're too this, or you shouldn't, or you can't. And when I did it anyway, it was, who do you think you are? You see, all those diminishing words spoken to us and about us, they teach us to silence our voices, to shrink our confidence, dismiss our mental and physical health, and reject what we want in deference to others. And then we're glorified for our self-sacrifice. But what if I told you you don't have to sacrifice yourself? What if I gave you permission right now to be as loud as you want to be, to take up that space, to prioritize yourself and your mental and physical health, and to pursue your joys and passions? Who would you be then if you could just be you? You see, words carry more power than we realize. They carry energy, and that energy creates reality. So I want you to look back at that first word you wrote down about who you are, and then the second word about who you want to be. And do you want to know what the difference is between those 2 words? A choice. That's right. One choice. Every single time you choose better for yourself, speak your truth, value yourself more, and show up in the world as who you truly are, your relationships improve, your health improves, your confidence grows, your future, your career, your income, everything expands. So are you willing to make that choice? Are you willing to choose differently, speak differently, tolerate nothing less than what you want and deserve, and go after everything you want this year? I hope so. Because I hope the next time someone asks you, who do you think you are, that you smile and say, I know who I am, and I know what I'm worth. Do you?
Hey, there's Dana, 4 o'clock in the morning, dropping the gems for us, the truth bombs, just like, you know what?
All of it.
You are, but I'm here to tell you my truth.
That's right. I may still need a little more coffee to get going, but I do know who I am now. And it's a beautiful thing. It sounds like such a bold statement, especially for a woman, but we should be bold. Why should we not be? Look at how men are, glorified. They're esteemed for being assertive and being strong and all these things. But when women do the same, we're called all kinds of different things. So we have to be careful of the words we tell ourselves, because once I always joke that they have those name tags, those stickers that say my name is, when you go to different events and you write your name down. But I feel like we wear so many of them, but the names that are on them are what other people have decided we are. But we get to decide who we are. We don't have to wear those labels. We need to start taking those off and say, my name is not who you think I am. I'm who I believe I am, and I know who I am.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, Dana, I know, your story is powerful. You've gone through some really difficult things in your life. Things have been spoken over you. And I think, when we as women experience those difficult situations, when our back is up against the wall, we're gonna rise to the occasion to fight our fight. And I've never seen anything more stronger or more courageous than women who are willing and ready to take that fight on, because we fight for our children, for our well-being, for our communities. Oh, don't try it. Oh, don't try it with a woman, because she's going to come out like a flame. So,
yes,
Dana, I know that's the kind of fire you bring to this space. And sometimes we just need that. We just need to witness another woman in her flame moment in order to realize that, oh, she lit my fire. I need to do that fight as well. Because a lot of times we, feel sorry for ourselves. We find excuses not to. And this is not time. This is not a time to do it. It's time to power shift into a different identity that we deserve.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Dana, where do people connect with you?
At my website, danasdiaz.com, or you can find me on Instagram at danas.diaz. I hang out there most of the time, but anywhere you want to find me, I'm on all the socials. Not hard to see me, and I would welcome any comments, any shifts in identity that people are feeling right now. Please feel free to message me. I'm glad to respond and give any more insight that I can.
Yeah, I had you on my mind yesterday, actually. I think you weren't on the speakers call last night. I was like, I missed Dana yesterday. Like, where was she? Because you bring so much energy into any room you step into.
Well, thank you so much.
Great to have you, and I'm really thrilled to have you at the Women Thrive Summit in March.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is Dana 𝐷. Make sure you connect with her on her social media channels. Follow these incredible women. Have I told you? Did I mention this when we began, that you're going to meet some phenomenal international women with amazing stories and things that they have gone through, and they're here to share their testimony, to share their message with you, and hopefully plant a seed of courage, confidence, and maybe something new for the year ahead, to change, to make a change, to make a shift, to switch some gears, to light a fire, to burn the box, whatever that is, maybe just to find your confidence, whatever that is that you walking away from today's showcase is just a small snippet of what you're going to experience at the Women Thrive Summit. So don't delay, grab yourself a seat at the Women Thrive Summit. This is a virtual event, so you have nothing to miss, and you can attend it for free. So make sure you're there. Our next speaker, our final speaker of the day, well, of this showcase, because we got a second showcase coming up later on in the day, Marielle Stevens. She is a midlife reinvention and confidence coach and the founder of Mind Breeze by M. Say yes to life again. She helps women in midlife to rebuild confidence, realign with what matters, and design the next chapter they excited to say yes to. I'm so excited to have Marielle. Hi, welcome.
Thank you, Ramona.
Where are you joining us from today?
I'm joining you from a cloudy Portugal.
And it's not usually cloudy, I know, but
No,
we usually.
but lately a lot of rain. So the country needs a lot of rain. So it's kind of good, although it's not so nice.
Yeah, well, we need all the seasons. And sometimes when those seasons of rain allows us to kind of take a moment to realign, reflect, grow, and find our moment. Marielle, I'm excited to hear what you have to share today. And I'll be at the end to pick up a conversation with you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Do you ever wake up and think, is this it? Do you? If you're in midlife, that question might sound familiar. Not because you don't have a good life, but because the life you build no longer fits who you are becoming. Midlife isn't the problem. Living out of alignment for too long is the problem. This is usually the moment we think we need a plan, a strategy, or a map. But what's actually missing isn't direction. It's authenticity. After decades of being the daughter, the partner, the mother, the professional, the one who holds it all together, it's easy to lose touch with your real self. You've become very good at adapting, at showing up, at keeping the peace. And somewhere along the way, your inner voice goes quiet. But when midlife arrives, something inside you starts to shift. You care less about what's expected, what other people think, and more about what feels true. That shift can feel like a crisis. But really, why not treat it like an invitation? Not too long ago, I was that woman who asked, is this it? Who had to relearn how to listen to herself. And now I work with brilliant women in midlife who feel like I did, lost, stuck, disconnected. Not because they lack strategy or willpower, but because they don't know where to begin or how to break the cycle. I help them reconnect with their inner voice and clarify what truly matters. And then design a chapter that they are excited to say yes to, so they can live and lead from what's true. Now, for me, saying a conscious yes to life happened more than once. I said yes to survival after my daughter died, because her twin brother needed me. I said yes to reinvention when our boat life ended and my identity as a homeschooling mom on a boat melted in my hands. I said yes to my changing body during menopause because pushing through no longer worked. And when the nest began to empty, I said yes to purpose, not by starting over, but by returning to what truly matters to me. Each yes was different, but all of them were honest, and each one led me closer to myself. Now let's pause here for a second and close your eyes. take a slow breath and gently ask yourself, what have I said yes to in the past, even when it was hard, that brought me closer to who I truly am? Just notice what comes up. Maybe write it down, or just hold it for a minute. Because your body remembers what your mind has learned to forget. Let me share with you what I've learned from this. An aligned yes doesn't show up in your head. It shows up in your body. It feels like relief, like space, even when it's scary. There's a quiet sense of, this is true. This feels right. And a misaligned yes, that feels tight, heavy, like a no in disguise. Midlife is when you stop living for approval and start living from alignment. That's where authenticity lives. And that's where midlife magic begins. So if you're feeling disconnected right now, it doesn't mean you're lost. It means your soul is asking you to choose differently. Not perfectly, but consciously. One honest step at a time. So here's the question I want to leave you with. What's one small yes that feels aligned with who you are becoming? Not who you've been. You don't need the whole plan. You just need that one yes. That's enough to begin. Now, this is exactly what I'll be diving deeper into in my upcoming talk at the Women Thrive Summit in March, coming March. The title is Authenticity is the Key to Midlife Magic. I would love to see you there. And if at some point today you thought, hey, that's me, and you would like to explore more, I'm Marielle Spetjens, and you can find me on all socials under my full name or at my website, mindbreeze.ae. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marielle. So many beautiful reminders for women today. And, you know, just because you're stepping into a new season of your life, it doesn't mean the end. It's just a change of seasons. And again, just opportunity for you to realign and find the magic. Because for me, when I see women stepping into the next decade of their lives or older age, this is where a lot of the wisdom comes from. And, you know, stepping into that power that you bring to any room and really appreciating it. And Marielle, I know that's the work that you do with your clients, kind of help them reinvent or step into a new season of their lives.
Exactly. Raimonda, there's so many women in midlife and they feel behind or too late, or they lost their confidence because they have acted in so many roles and they were brilliant at it. But they have all the wisdom now and the experiences that a lot of other people can use. So sharing those, reminding them of who they are deep down inside, it's such a wonderful purpose to strive for.
Yeah, I think not seeing it as a disadvantage, or instead, it's, you know, it is a huge advantage that you have the wisdom that you get to share from your life experiences. I work some of the best clients who are in their, you know, older age, and they're just phenomenal. They have so much to share with the world, and a lot of them like have that fire burning. It's like, I'm not done here. Like I've got more to give, and I'm excited about it. I think, you know, somebody just takes lighting that fire in them and just seeing that there are so many more opportunities as they go on through life journey.
Exactly.
Marielle, amazing. What can people expect with at your Women Thrive Summit talk?
At the summit talk, I will talk about why authenticity and really getting back into who you are, your inner voice, listen to it, follow your inner compass, how that can bring magic back to your life. And I will teach a little bit. I will tell you more about my story and the fact that saying yes for me, for some people, it's saying no, right? You know, I treat no as a big yes to yourself. Right? So it's not about yes or no, but for me, saying yes gave me that spark that I needed to find new challenges, to go after things that I thought I was too old for, or learn new things. I will give people or the attendees on the summit, I will go through some very, very powerful exercises that you can use right away and start feeling that spark again if you're looking for that.
Oh, amazing. I love that, Marielle. Great to have you here today. Thank you for being here to share your story, and we look forward to seeing you at the Women Thrive Summit.
Thank you, Ramonda. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great to see you, and great to see all of you here today for this showcase. Thank you for being here to support our speakers, for sharing this, for being in the comments. We truly appreciate it. I know we have had women from all around the world, so do make sure you go back on a replay, maybe connect with some of the ladies that maybe you haven't connected with yet. And most importantly, save your spot for our annual Women Thrive Summit, because this is where all the magic is going to be happening. So this year we have nearly 50 speakers, 5 days, starting the 16th of March, right? 16th to the 20th of March. Do make sure you head over to womenthrivesummit.com and save your free spot. This is where we're going to have a whole week-long event. Every speaker will have an hour session where they will go much deeper into their stories, their topics, their teachings, and you get to enjoy that free of charge. So you're going to be on Zoom, live virtually with our speakers. You get to interact, meet other women. So many people that I know who have attended this event in the past have said, this has been a huge transformation. This has ignited my fire. This has started me off on a completely new journey and trajectory of their lives. So I know this is going to be truly transformational. If you are meant to be there, I know you will be there. And if you're not able to be there, share with other women, because you never know who may need to hear some of these messages that women have shared today. Truly appreciate it. Some of the other announcements, Women Thrive magazine. We have our January edition out now, so make sure you grab a copy. You can now subscribe digitally or in print. And of course, keep an eye out on your emails on our social media as we announce our next event in person, which is going to be in London, June 5th and 6th. And this is a great opportunity for you. If you have been a big fan of Women Thrive, if you have attended our past events and you want to reconnect with our community, make sure you are there. And if you are joining virtually, first Thursday of every month, we're going to have our virtual networking event, which is free of charge. Just connect with us on socials and you will be able to attend one of these events. Look forward to seeing you all on another showcase later on today, which is going to be 7 p.m. UK time or 2 p.m. EST, depending which time zone you're in. Or you may want to wake up in the middle of the night if you're in Australia and tap in to our evening showcase or midnight showcase, depending how dedicated you feel today to skip sleep and hang out with our speakers tonight. Thanks to all of our speakers. They were amazing. I'm truly inspired. It really sets me up for a high energy day. I hope it does for you too. And we look forward to seeing another showcase later today, and also then February, which will be our next date, Thursday, 3rd Thursday of February. Thanks to all of our team behind the scenes who make all of this possible, because without them, wouldn't be able to have all this wonderful production, and they make it all happen behind the scenes. Thanks to my little co-host who just fell asleep, Maya Rose. So my daughter, who managed to give me this time to host this event. I'm so grateful for having those reminders of why we do what we do, and why it's so important for us as women to pave the way for future generations and women who may be just stepping into their purpose and their journey. So thank you all for being here, and we look forward to seeing you on another showcase. Take care for now.